Hi, my name's John. A year ago, I never even heard of Fruits Basket. That is until my fiancé introduced the anime to me.
And I'm Allie. I've been reading the manga since I was in 3rd grade.
We loved watching season 1 together so much, and we'd have all these crazy long discussions about what happened in each episode.
And for season 2, we thought it would be really fun to share our conversations with you.
So join us today as we talk about season 2, episode 15. See you later. So if you're a returning listener, welcome back to our Fruits Basket podcast. And if you're a new listener, then we are happy to have you here today. So if you like this kind of content, you want to see more of it coming from this channel, make sure to like the video and subscribe. And we want to give a big thank you to everyone who shared our video on the symbolism of this season's new ending. Feel free to share this video too. If you do, you'll get a shout out in our next Fruits Basket podcast. But with all of that out of the way, where are we starting?
Okay, well, first of all, we have to give out our little announcement. If you follow either of us on Twitter, you may have known that there was something we wanted to talk about. So, do you want to say it?
Yeah. So, on Saturday, I proposed to Allie, and she said yes. So, we're officially engaged.
You may have caught it in the intro if you listen to it and you don't skip over it.
Yeah.
I am not girlfriend Allie anymore. I'm fiancé Allie. So that's really cute.
And I guess I'm fiancé John. But more importantly, this episode.
Yeah. Let's talk about Fruits Basket. Okay. All right. So we start out with the episode, and it's Yuki apologizing to Mayu about his mom changing the conference date.
Mm-hmm.
And we get Tohru, and she just says the absolute best thing in the world when she thinks about Akito. And she's like, Akito told me not to meddle. I'll try my best to meddle.
Which, I have a couple thoughts. A, Yuki's mom, hardcore the worst. Just the worst human. Showing that time and time again. And if she somehow becomes a sympathetic character, I don't want her to. Let me just not like her. And then, in terms of Tohru saying, I'll do my best to meddle, it just made me so happy.
Right?
Because that very intense moment of don't meddle, and she's just shook in the rain at the end of the beach arc, ooh, and then she's just like, I promise I'll do my best to meddle. Please do your best, Yuki. It's just like, oh girl, you cruising for a bruising, but we love you.
May be damaged, but still adorable.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. But then after that, we get the absolutely gorgeous opening, which I'm still not over yet.
Love the lens flares. Love the lens flares.
You're a lens flare kind of guy.
100%.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
And then we get into the career talk. And really briefly, real quick tangent. So for those of you who don't know, for the past 2 years, I've worked as a career coach at a university and wasn't a huge fan of this part because they were just like, are you going to college or are you working? And they're literally just saying, I'm working or I'm going to college. And they're just like, yup, checks out. And I'm just like, put a little bit more oomph into trying to help them figure out what they want to do. I think that would be helpful. That's just my 2 cents on the matter, though. Just saying.
Yeah.
Maybe even asking, what do you want to do and why? Even just asking that why question. A little extra. Anyways, I digress.
No, I agree. And we're not knocking the writing or anything.
No,
but
no, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. It obviously wasn't something important that Takaya wanted to talk about, but I wish she had. Because that would have been really fun. Especially for you, since it was your career. But
no, yeah.
Okay.
I could talk about career for 10 years, so I'm holding back right now.
But we get Uotani. She wants to be a model because Toru ran to her.
Yes.
After she talked to Kyo about it. And she's like, Uotani, you should be a model. Absolutely adorable. I love Toru.
And Uotani is just like, yeah, I should.
That sounds good. That'll get my pops to be quiet.
Her poor father.
It's so good. And then Hanajima, they're both so chaotic. Hanajima wants to escape to a foreign country and get married or become a housewife. I forget what she wrote down, but it was something along those lines.
Plausible. Good for her. She has a dream, and you know what? If anyone's going to achieve that dream, it's gonna be her.
It's already canon in your
Yeah.
mind? Okay.
Oh, it's 100% happening. She'll find a wave boy for her wave girl, and they'll have little wave babies.
Oh.
Yeah.
Babies. Jeez. Okay. But then after
I don't know why
that...
I'm making everyone have children.
Oh, yeah. What are we up to now? So Kyo and Toru are married in your mind?
Yes, they are. They're married. They have 2 children.
Uh-huh.
Yuki and Machi are married. They have 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the only marriages that we have so far, except for Hanajima and Mystery Man number 6.
We had Mayu and Hattori too.
Oh, but that's like actually confirmed.
Yeah.
We don't care about them.
We don't care
They're
about them.
confirmed.
Ugh, they already confirmed it. Now it's boring.
Yeah. Ugh. That ship is well established. Anyways. And then, so we get to the kind of one of the more meaty parent-teacher conferences, and that's with Shigure and Toru. And I thought that this was an experience.
Oh, I mean, you knew it would be an experience the second you saw Mayu's face.
And I loved how, with us announcing our engagement, they talked about proposals in this. And I'm like, Shigure, stop talking about marrying Toru. Like, I understand it's 100,000% a joke, but I'm just like, no.
No, please don't do that. Not in front of the teacher. She's a mandated reporter.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, she probably would have to report that. So, that's that. They're kind of talking about Toru, and I love how they show that Mayu is another person who's really looking out for Toru. Because when we think about it, we only really know about the Somas and like Uotani and Hanajima. They're looking out for Toru on a regular basis. But Mayu just saying, don't try to bear everything yourself is really kind of impactful to me, because that shows that she is keeping an active eye on Toru all the time.
Oh, yeah. And I imagine why she would be, because Mayu was the one who delivered the news about Toru's mother to her.
Yeah.
She was the one who pulled her out of the classroom and told her everything. And I know that when that happens to teachers, when they witness or are very included in a big moment like that for one of their students, it really messes them up.
Yeah.
And it stays with them forever. So it makes sense why Mayu's always keeping an eye out on Toru. She's known her before Kyoko died, so it just makes sense. And
so she probably knows the little cues that Toru has, maybe not to the extent that Kyo does, but I'm sure that she can tell that Toru right now during this conversation is internally freaking out, because she is. We don't see Toru look that stilted very often. And when we do, you know, she's not in a good place mentally.
Oh, yeah. And everyone, now that I'm thinking about it, is very worried about Toru, not just because of the whole career thing and Kyoko and her promise with her mom and everything, but they also, a lot of characters have brought up that they don't trust Shigure. Uotani, Hanajima, and Mayu. Yeah. So that's another factor, and that gets brought up when Shigure recalls his conversation with Rin.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that he is using Toru as a chess piece, like everyone's kind of saying. I think Rin says something along the lines of, is she just another fallen book to you, or just spare paper, or whatever. We don't see his face. At first I was like, oh, he probably has a cynical expression. But part of me feels like he had a sad look on his face. Because Hanajima even points out that Toru may have softened him to kindness. And while I still think he's using her 100% to find love, which is my active theory, like that's what all of his goals are moving towards, is finding that true love that he really desires but can't have because of the Zodiac. I think that he is sad and feels guilty and might even be distraught that he's using Tohru for this. Maybe in a way that he's never felt for anyone else.
Ooh, is that why you think he had that certain expression he had when Mayu was talking to him? Okay.
Yeah. I think that because she said, "What would you do for someone that you love?" or something along those lines. And he had such a sad smile there. It really conveyed just the emotions that he was feeling. I think in that moment, saying, "I'm going to put up a good front," but inside he's really genuinely sad because he knows that he has never found that true love that he really desires, which is why he writes all those romance novels, to try and get something, to try and feel a little bit of something akin to what he's looking for, or at least live vicariously through his characters.
Oh, I like your theories. They're so fun. Okay. Alrighty. So, do you have anything else from Shigure and Mayu before we move on to Toru being an absolute pain?
Their interactions make my life better, and I love that he wore Hattori's suit, and I love that she recognized that.
Yeah, that was all amazing. I love that she recognized Hattori's suit. It's just like, you would, Mayu. You would.
You would. You would. Ooh, you fall hard, girl.
But yeah, then we get Toru, and I don't want to ask you any pointed questions here because I don't want to lead you in a direction. So just like walk me through her flashbacks and like the importance of them and her thinking about Kyo.
So we see her flashback to the shrine of her father, her mother leaving, which she inherently associates with her potentially taking her own life, which we kind of learned in last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then her thrusting open the hospital door to see her mom laying there either in severe condition or dead. And so I think that since working straight out of college is a promise that she made to her mother and that they'd agreed upon and that was their plan, I think that this stirred the pot a lot for her. And I thought that this brought up a lot of really sad feelings. And then Kyo, his back being turned, I feel like she's also very much internalizing the sadness of him potentially being locked up.
Okay.
So that's gone into her box of things that she can't let dictate her life every waking moment. So she has to just shove it down as far as it goes.
Ooh.
And so with the box sinking to the ground, because I think that if she let all of this loose, she would be close to her breaking point, which, just to jump to towards the end of the episode, she, talking about herself, said she has a very small flame that could easily be puffed out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I feel like she realizes that it's getting harder and harder to keep that lid on the box, because I think while she was sitting there, the lid was off and she was freaking out. And she stuffed the lid back on forcibly. And that's what that scene kind of illustrated.
Ooh. So is that why you think Kyo is the last thing that you see before the lid goes on the box?
Yeah, I think it's that. And I think she might be creating an association between Kyo and Kyoko. Maybe he's filled that kind of void that Kyoko held in her life, kind of that very much a support system. And maybe she just doesn't want to get attached to him like the way she was attached to her mother, because she's been broken once with the loss of her mother. What if somehow she lost Kyo to maybe, I don't know, lifetime imprisonment?
Yeah.
that would destroy the girl. So I almost feel like Kyo's in the box for that reason as well. That she doesn't want to get too close so that she doesn't get profoundly hurt. Obviously, she'll still be around him, she'll still care about him, but she doesn't want to rely on him like she relied on her mother.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. Very briefly, since we're at a spoilery moment, and I don't believe we've mentioned spoilers yet, I just wanted to give a friendly reminder that John is an anime only, meaning that he is unspoiled. He has no idea what is happening. If you are a manga reader or an avid Wikipedia lover and you know what is happening, please do not leave a comment unless it is under a spoiler tag.
Yes,
I have been
please.
moderating the comments, and I've already removed some people who just outright say, like, oh, I know this is a spoiler, but here's a plot twist.
Yeah.
So please do not do that. Please.
I love engaging with as many people as I can in the comments, but I'm scared to go to the comment section at this point. And so I don't really go there until Ali has vetted everything. And so, please, if you're going to put a spoiler, make sure it's under the read more part of the comment and say that it's a spoiler tag.
Yeah, and
Please.
if you notice that your comment doesn't get published right away, it's because it's being held for review because too many people have used the phrases that you're using in a spoilery way. So don't fret if you didn't spoil, but your comment isn't showing up. So that's the PSA. Just wanted to put that out there because we've been having an issue with it. But reminders, friendly.
And really quickly, 100% friendly. We just don't want to be spoiled so that we can keep having this podcast. And so I don't have to have that day where I'm like, guys, I got spoiled, which would not be fun for anyone.
Okay, so with that bit out of the way, let's move on with the episode, and since we were talking about Kyo, let's just go right into his session.
Yes. So, Best Dad of the Year award.
Oh yeah, no wonder why Hanajima has a crush on him.
Oh, I have a crush on him. Jeez. Like, him saying that Kyo can have all the time in the world to decide what he wants to do after high school was very telling to his intentions, because he's saying, I won't let you get locked up. He's said that before. And Kyo's like, I'm gonna be locked up. I'm running out of time. I just want to be with Toru after the session's over. And I think it's just so heartbreaking that he's given himself to that idea and he's just accepted it. He's not fighting anymore.
Yeah, that part really hurts. Makes me sad. But then Uotani interrupts his thoughts with her shoe.
Oh, he snatches that shoe. Even when he's a moody boy, he can snatch that shoe. And
oh, yeah.
When she moves towards him, did you notice the little hop she does because she doesn't have a shoe on?
Yeah. And then Toru's furious clapping.
Yeah. Like, good job, you caught it. And she wants to eat Solman, which he immediately knows means that, oh no, she's sad.
Yeah, because the first time, and the last time, the first and only time, I guess, that they talked about having a Solman party was with Shigure when he interrupted their little moment the last time she got overwhelmed.
Which was about career stuff.
Yeah, funny. It all ties in together. Thanks to
Weird.
Kaya. But
so,
yeah,
it was written that way.
That whole story about don't worry about the laundry in the distance, start with what's at your feet, and if you get overwhelmed, then just have someone with your friends. And he was there for that. He remembers that story. He knows how much of an impact it had on Toru, and that face that he makes is just, yeah, I knew she'd be overwhelmed, and she's overwhelmed because she wants to have a Solman party. Like, she's being actionable about it.
Yeah.
But, good for her for leaning on her friends at this moment. She's actually, being actionable.
No, yeah. And that's
Proud.
a good coping skill. Good on you, Toru.
Go. I didn't even put that together until right now. Proud of you, Toru.
But, yeah, so Solman party happens. That's great. Hanajima is kind of upset that Kazuma has a son close to her age, but she'll figure it out. And then we cut to Yuki. And just the scene of him completely alone in the dark, talking to his horrible mother, was just really striking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I will say, in the anime, this transition was a little bit jarring for me. In the manga, there's another filler scene. Well, not filler. I guess it is if they cut it, but I enjoyed it. But it was a good transition scene that took us from the Solman Party to Yuki being on the phone with his mom. And they cut it, so it was a little jarring for me, and I think for some manga readers, but as an anime only, did that feel jarring to you? Or
No, I thought it worked
feel...
perfectly. I thought it was a nice stark contrast to really transition to the second half of the episode. So transitioning from the Tohru half to the Yuki half. And
okay.
As his mom drives up, he starts having those flashbacks.
Yeah, and then his bronchitis, like his bronchial tubes.
Yes.
Like we've heard before, they start acting up again, and he hasn't had an issue with it in so long.
And so, like, him saying that, this happened a little bit earlier, but him saying that even just thinking about seeing her again, or seeing her, or talking to her, just has him sinking and falling and everything turning black again. And now, cut to, he's having flashbacks about his mother just completely being dismissive of him because, well, the family head favors you now. And his feet, oh my goodness, his feet.
His feet, I know.
Little Yuki's feet. Do we know why that happened? Do I just not remember? Or, because that hurts. I don't know.
If you do know, I don't remember if it happened yet, so manga readers, leave a spoiler tag, let us know.
Yeah.
If they explain Yuki's little feet. Okay.
But, yeah, and his mom's just not listening to him. She's carrying on with her conversation and just leaves him behind. And you wonder why Yuki is the way he is. It's because of his parenting, in large part. That led him to be predisposed to... we have a whole video on how we kind of think he has PTSD. I stand by that with everything that's revealed with his flashbacks and everything. But I think that even prior to that, I think he struggles a lot because his parents were very authoritarian in nature, from what I'm gathering. And so, for those of you who aren't familiar with the different kinds of parenting styles, there are 4 types of parenting styles. It's authoritative, which is by far the best. Authoritative parents are fantastic. There is authoritarian, permissive, and disengaged. And so, authoritarian parenting is, tell me if this sounds like Yuki's mom. Parents tend to be very demanding, but not really warm or nurturing. So they have a lot of rules and kind of micromanage every aspect of their kids' lives. They seem cold and aloof and really harsh at times. And they like to utilize punishments, but won't explain why the kid's being punished. Don't really give the kids choices or options or anything. And they don't have really patience for their kids misbehaving. They just don't trust them to make any good choices, and they are not willing to negotiate. And they'll shame the kids to, make them behave. I feel like that very well describes his mother.
Oh, yeah, to the point where she even said some of those things out loud, like, you can't make your own decisions.
Yes, exactly. And so she micromanages him so much and does not give any good emotional reciprocity. That, what are the effects that this can have on a kid's upbringing and just how they act moving forward? They'll associate obedience with success or with love. Yuki has a hard time disobeying, whether it's Akito, his mother. He does not have an easy time disobeying authority, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes this will cause kids to be kind of shy or even scared of other people, just because they'll probably have some lower self-esteem issues and just in general difficulty in social situations. Obviously, this is a generalization. This is not a sentence, but these tendencies do fit Yuki so well as a textbook child from an authoritarian parent. And oftentimes, these kids will suffer from depression or anxiety. And yeah, So I think that it shows how much Yuki is a subject of his environment. And I thought that that was really, really interesting, really, because this is the first time we see her for any considerable amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I really enjoyed, specifically in this episode, where they show the power dynamic.
Yeah.
And they do so using new effects that we haven't seen before.
Mhm.
Like with the table.
Yes.
And when
Oh my
I saw
goodness, the
it-
table.
Yes. When I saw it the first time we watched the episode, I thought it looked, I won't lie, I thought it looked kind of wonky, and I didn't understand why they were doing it. But then the second time we watched it, I realized that the purpose wasn't to make the table look bigger. The purpose was to show that Yuki was moving away.
Mm-hmm.
And showing that distance, that he's just desperately trying to convince himself to speak up, to say something, but he can't because he went through that parenting style. It's just not possible for him until Ayame comes in.
And Ayame is a rock star in this. And I think that this very much shows what I mentioned earlier, that just because this parenting style will have this effect on one person doesn't mean it's a sentence. Because Ayame and Yuki aren't two peas in a pod, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this didn't have the same effect, or he has overcome the effects of this parenting style.
Yeah, exactly. Like they became two entirely different people.
Yeah, exactly. So I never want to say that if your parents are like this, then this will happen, because it's so situational and varies from person to person. Because Ayame just coming in and his mother having no idea what to do with him. Like, she was all rough and tough with Yuki, just completely dominating him. But then Ayame says, like, will you be quiet, mother?
Yeah, we're discussing Yuki's precious future.
And she does. Because she can't handle him, because she can't micromanage him.
Oh, yeah. And then her realizing that they're close and they've formed a bond, insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely bonkers. Like, she doesn't know how to do it. And Ayame calls her out and he's like, you're like how I used to be. You just trample over things that are precious.
Yeah. And so,
Okay.
Ayame, I already love Ayame. If you've listened to a lot of this podcast, you know I love Ayame. But this put him so much higher in my books. Like, this gave him so many points for me. Because, and it looks like for Yuki too, because he knows that he can depend on Ayame right now. Because Ayame literally saved him here.
Yeah, and I love that Ayame finally gets verbal confirmation from Yuki that he helped. Because that's all he's wanted to do since we've started with, like, season 1. Ayame just wants to help Yuki. He may not do it in the best way, or in a way that makes Yuki feel entirely comfortable, but in situations like this, where Yuki's absolutely powerless and cannot stand up to the authority that is his mother, Ayame helped him to an incredible amount.
Yeah.
And Yuki validates that and says that he can depend on Ayame. And Ayame gets so happy.
That he has to text Hattori, Mayu's boo.
Mm-hmm.
And Yuki's response to this, like, don't text Hattori.
Yes.
And he does. It's a very nice text. Our brotherly love is now mutual.
Yes. Very good.
And Yuki remembers what Toru said. I thought that was such... It shows how much of an impact that she has on this boy, and such a positive impact that she has. And I love how this episode really works to, from what I can tell, contrast Toru with his mom. Because there are a lot of moments where his mom will be being awful, like in this session, and then he'll remember what Toru said. Because she says, please do your best. Or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And so, isn't that what prompts him to go get his mother, or go talk to his mom?
I believe so. But when he runs after his mom, this is my favorite part of the episode. I think this is such a huge coming of age moment. And it's what makes this story so great for specifically like teenagers to read. Because him realizing when he touches his mom's shoulder that she's small, and she felt so large when he was younger, and he couldn't turn away from her. If she left him, it would be like the end of the world. But now that he's older and taller than her, she's just this small woman, almost like a stranger to him because they're not close at all. But we all have these moments with our parents where we compare ourselves to them once we reach at least close to adulthood. And you go, oh my gosh, these are just people.
Yeah. She's finally been humanized to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he asks her, please don't decide for me, essentially. He's going to decide for himself now. He said he's going to school, but he's going to decide where. And that's such a big thing for him to say to her.
Yeah, because before, when he had asked to choose his high school, he was much more timid. He felt that his words weren't reaching her, that they died before they ever even got to her. And she acted out. She threw a magazine on the floor and yelled at him or whatever. And now he has more power in this situation. He has numbers on his side. He has his brother. He has his teacher. He has friends. He has a new household. There's so much more power that Yuki has that he can stand on his own newly laid foundation and say, no, I'm going to choose my life. I can have opinions. You're wrong. Yeah. You're just a person to me now. I don't have to listen to you.
She just kind of storms away from him after this.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's really striking to this scene is the second that his mom storms away and is off screen, Toru appears. And so I don't know if Yuki's put this together, and maybe I'm wrong, but it almost feels like that's the show telling us that she is like the new maternal figure to him. You know? Because it's not romance. He knows that there's some deep connection between the two of them, and some reason that he's really invested in his relationship with Toru. But he's a Kyoru shipper. He wants the best for her, and it's not romantic. And so her being that support to him, the one that lifts him up, the one that takes care of him, she feeds him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She is the one that he looks to tell his problems to. And so if his mother is very authoritarian, then Toru's very authoritative, which is the awesome parenting style. If we're calling her his parent now, which is very high responsiveness to the person's emotional needs, while having high standards for the person, wanting to see him succeed while also being very emotionally supportive and invested.
That sounds like our Toru.
And so I feel like I didn't put this together until I started doing the parenting styles thing, and I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. And so I feel like Toru's almost like a parenting figure, even though they're the same age.
Okay.
Is that weird?
I mean, no. People call their friends mom. Like,
true. Yeah, she's like the mom of the friend group.
Mom. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I could see that.
And so, while I'm not saying that she's like his parent, it's more of like that maternal figure in his life.
Okay, I have to ask one question about this Yuki Toru scene.
Yes.
And then we'll go on a little tangent. But okay. So why does Toru take off the ribbon?
Because... oh my gosh. Right? She takes off the ribbon because it almost feels like he's able to stand on his own 2 feet without her. Because I think that she was wearing the ribbon in solidarity with him.
Mm-hmm.
As a sign of support. But I feel like with him running off with Now, I think that she realizes that he's able to stand on his own 2 feet now. Maybe?
Maybe.
I'm not sure. That's my best guess.
I'll take it. I'll take whatever puzzle pieces you put together. Okay, so, if you have not heard me talk about symbolism or color or anything like that before, hi, I'm Allie. I studied graphic design, art history, color theory, all those things when I was in college. And so the color theory of things like movies and TV shows, anime, they're all very important to me. And I always keep an eye out for them. And there was something really cool that they did with color theory in this episode that I want to call out. When we start with Yuki and he's on the phone with his mom, everything is bleak, desaturated, meaning that there's not a lot of color. There's no bright, like true blues, true yellows. Nothing's bright. They're all darker grayish hues.
Yeah.
And he mentions that his world is becoming black, which he often associates with Akito and his time staying at the estate. So things are always getting darker and darker and more desaturated. As we continue through the scenes with his mom, everything is desaturated. There's a cloudy day, it's raining. His school uniform, which usually appears to be a bright blue, is now seeming like a darker blue. His umbrella is blue, which, blue is associated with Yuki, but now it feels bleaker. His mom is wearing a gray dress, and then we move to the room where they have the parent-teacher conference, and it almost feels like the lights aren't even on. It's so dark in there.
Yeah.
The dark wood of the table. Mayu is wearing a dark green shirt. Everyone is wearing very cool colors, which those are like your greens, your blues, your purples, things like that. Whereas warmer colors are things like your oranges, your reds, and your yellows. So with everyone wearing these dark, desaturated, cool colors and everything around them is all cool, it just has this intense bleakness to it. But then we get Ayame. And he storms in and he's wearing red and he has red roses, the symbol of romance, as Ayame would. And we get warm colors. We are introduced to warmth for the first time in however many minutes. And that brightens Yuki up. We get those cute little shoujo orange bubbles, but it doesn't last. And even Ayame's own clothing is like a darker maroon. It's not like a bright red, So he's not bringing enough warmth. We're not there yet. It's only momentary. But then once Yuki's mom leaves and he turns around and he sees Toru, the clouds part, it is now sunny, and everything is suddenly saturated.
Ooh.
And it's literally like in the old Wizard of Oz where like everything goes from being black and white grayscale TV to like suddenly color, Toru brought color into his life. And it pairs very well with the ending when she's being compared with, like, sunflowers and being sunlight. Because that's what she is to them. That's what she is to these Soma boys. So I love that everything suddenly becomes so saturated with Toru. So that's a little color theory for you. Color's important.
I love that. And so they exchange that low look as they're running off, and the episode ends.
But does it?
Except it doesn't. Because, oh my god, I wasn't expecting Kakeru today. And
I know.
It's very little Kakeru, but the commander, the commander. I need more Kakeru and Ayame. Please let Ayame be more involved with the student council, because I need to see them interact more.
Yes, and I love how Machi walked in on it, and she, like, crab walked away. Like,
girl,
nope,
that's gonna be your brother-in-law.
Oh my god.
That is your brother-in-law. You already married to Yuki.
I can't remember if we talked about this on the podcast or if it was privately, but we had talked about, like, wouldn't it be crazy if Kakeru and Ayame met? And I'm so happy that it happened.
Oh my god. It was everything I could hope for. And Kimi is, like, stoked too. And poor Now.
Oh my gosh, poor Now.
Oh my god.
I have been waiting for so long for this scene ever since you voiced that you loved Kakeru and that you loved Ayame. I was like, please, just bring me to this episode. I need this moment. I need this reaction. Please.
And then next episode.
Yes.
I have no idea.
So it is titled Ask Him For Me. And usually I tell you who's talking. And I know it seems a little sus that I'm not going to tell you. Which,
Yeah.
Do with that what you will.
But
do you know who's talking?
I don't think it's Kisa. Because I swear her voice is, like, not that high. Like, do we know the character?
I will say Kisa's voice is, like, a little bit more raspy.
Yeah.
Because she didn't talk for, like, a really long time.
Yeah. And it's not like any of the other high voices that we know, Toru or Momiji.
Yeah. I feel like if it was in English, you would know right away, but, like, you don't speak Japanese, and we started watching this in the dub.
Yeah.
So you recognize the English voices, but I feel like you'd get it right away if it was in English, and I don't want to tell you.
Okay. Get it right away. What other little girls do we know? We know Momiji's little sister. Is it her? Oh, it's her. It's her. It's her. Oh no, Momo's back? Oh no, that can't be good.
If it was... Okay, wait. Theorizing time. If it was Momo talking and saying, ask him for me, what would Momo... Well, first of all, who's she talking to? And second of all...
She'd be talking to Toru, because that's the Deus Ex Machina of this show. Everything happens through Toru. And... and she'd be asking... And because she knows Toru knows Momiji, because of Toru's job.
Okay.
And she'd be saying... Can you tell him for... I have no idea. I like bunnies.
Can you tell him that I like rabbits, please?
That's a cute child thing to say. But
that would be. But, like, I don't know. When would Toru even, like, run into Momo?
Maybe she went back to work.
Oh, true. We haven't seen her at work in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
And they still talk about... But they still talk about them walking her home from work. So I think she still does.
True.
So that's probably where she'd see her. Or the Soma estate. I don't know why Toru would go there, but that's possible.
I don't know.
But regardless.
You'll just have to wait until next week. Which, by the way, next week, that is my favorite chapter of all time. I'm going to try not to spill the beans too much on it, but I will cry.
Okay.
So, but I cry a lot.
Great. I'm excited.
Okay.
But do you have anything else you want to add?
Nope, that's it.
All right. So that'll do it for today's podcast, guys. Thank you so much if you stuck around all the way to the end. If you like this kind of content, you want to see more of it coming from this channel, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another upload. And share it with your friends wherever you share things, whether that's Reddit, Discord, Twitter, anywhere is great for us. So, we hope you have, as always, a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of your week, and why not even a fantastic rest of your month. And we will see you in the next video. Later.
See ya.